Excuse me, Professor, I'm having a bit of trouble understanding the present simple tense. Could you please explain it to me?
Of course, I would be happy to help. The present simple tense is used to describe actions that are habitual, routine, or generally true. It's the basic form of a verb without any added tense markers for the subject I, you, we, or they. For example, I eat breakfast every morning, or she goes to school by bus.
So, it's for things that happen regularly or are permanent?
Exactly. It's used for actions that occur regularly, like daily routines or habits, and also for facts that are always true. For instance, the Earth revolves around the Sun or water boils at 100 degrees Celsius.
Are there any specific keywords or phrases that indicate the use of present simple?
Yes, there are some signal words that often accompany the present simple tense. Words like always, usually, often, sometimes, rarely, never, and every day typically indicate the use of present simple. Also, keep an eye out for verbs that don't have an ing ending or auxiliary verbs like do or does when forming questions or negatives.
Ah, I see. So when do we use do or does?
Good question. Do is used with plural subjects like we, you, they, and I. For example, they do their homework every evening. Does is used with singular subjects like he, she, it, or singular nouns. For instance, she does her chores on Saturdays. These auxiliary verbs are used to form questions and negatives in the present simple tense.
Thanks for clarifying that. Can you give me another example?
Sure. How about this? Do you play the piano? Here, do is the auxiliary verb used to form the question, and play is the base form of the verb without any tense markers. And for the negative, we could say, she does not like spinach. Here, does is the auxiliary verb used to form the negative, and like is the base form of the verb.
That makes sense. Thanks for your help, Professor.
You are welcome. If you have any more questions or need further clarification, don't hesitate to ask. Understanding the present simple tense is crucial for mastering English grammar. Keep practicing, and you will get the hang of it in no time.
Thank you, Professor. Just one more thing, how do we use the present simple tense for future events?
Ah, good question. Although the present simple is mainly used for present actions or general truths, it can also be used to talk about scheduled events in the future, particularly when there's a timetable, calendar, or fixed schedule involved. For example, the train leaves at 7 p.m. tomorrow, or the concert starts at 8 o'clock tonight.
So, we can use it for future events if they are part of a timetable or schedule?
Exactly. When we talk about events that are part of a fixed schedule, like public transportation, events, or routines, we can use the present simple tense to discuss them. It's a bit like a present fact about the future.
I think I understand now. So, for future events without a fixed schedule, we would use other tenses like the future simple?
That's correct. For events or actions in the future without a fixed timetable, we typically use other future tenses like the future simple, will plus base verb, or the future continuous, will be plus present participle. For example, I will meet you at the park tomorrow, or she will be studying for her exam next week.
Got it. Thank you for your clear explanation, Professor. I will practice using the present simple tense more confidently now.
You are very welcome. Remember, practice makes perfect. Keep using the present simple tense in your conversations and writing, and soon it will become second nature to you. If you have any more questions or need further assistance, don't hesitate to ask. I'm here to help.
Thank you, Professor. I appreciate your patience and guidance. I do have one more question. How do we use the present simple tense in reported speech?
Reported speech is an important aspect where the tense may change depending on the context. When we report something that was said in the present simple tense, we often need to shift the tense back one step in time. For example, if someone says, "I work as a teacher," in direct speech, in reported speech we would say, "He said that he works as a teacher." Here, works changes to worked because we have shifted from present to past tense in reported speech.
So, in reported speech, we typically change the present simple to the past simple?
Yes, that's correct. However, if the statement is still true at the time of reporting, we might retain the present tense. For example, if someone says, "I live in London," in reported speech we could say, "He said that he lives in London," because the statement is still true. It all depends on whether the information is still valid at the time of reporting.
That makes sense. So, if the information is still true, we can keep the present simple tense in reported speech.
Exactly. And if the information is no longer true or if we are reporting on past events, we typically shift the tense back one step in time.
Thank you for clarifying that, Professor. Reported speech can be a bit tricky, but I think I understand better now.
You are welcome. Reported speech can indeed be a bit challenging, but with practice, you will become more comfortable with it. If you have any more questions or if there's anything else you would like to know, feel free to ask. I'm here to help you understand English grammar better.
Thank you, Professor. Your explanations have been incredibly helpful. Just one final question. Are there any common mistakes or pitfalls students should be aware of when using the present simple tense?
Of course. One common mistake is forgetting to add the third persons to verbs when the subject is singular, such as he, she, or it. For instance, saying she go to school instead of she goes to school. Another mistake is using the present simple tense for actions happening right now, which should be expressed using the present continuous tense. For example, saying "I write a letter" instead of "I am writing a letter" when you are currently in the process of writing. It's important to differentiate between habitual actions, present simple, and actions in progress, present continuous.
I see. So, it's important to remember the third person S and to use the present continuous for actions happening at the moment.
Exactly. Also, be cautious with time expressions. The present simple tense is often used with time expressions that indicate frequency, such as always, often, sometimes, and never. Using these expressions incorrectly with other tenses can lead to confusion. For instance, saying "I am always go to the gym" instead of "I always go to the gym" would be incorrect.
Thank you for pointing out those common mistakes. I will make sure to pay attention to them in my practice.
You are welcome. It's great that you are aware of these potential pitfalls. Keep practicing and don't hesitate to ask if you encounter any difficulties. Mastery of the present simple tense will greatly enhance your English language skills.
Thank you again, Professor. I will be sure to keep practicing and asking questions as needed.
You are very welcome. I am here to help. Keep up the good work, and I am confident you will continue to improve.